Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing a video right here by a guy named Sam. His channel is called Exploring the Foreign, and he actually somehow came across my channel. I guess he watches my channel as well. I've been watching his, and I think I commented on like one of his videos or something. Well, he ended up hitting me up on Instagram, and we were talking a little bit and stuff. And he's like, "Hey, man, it'd be like super cool if you reacted to one of my videos." And everything. And I'm like, all right, yeah. Well, I watched a bunch of his videos already, so I was waiting for one to come out. But he sent me a link to this one. So we're going to do this right here. It's called Typical Dutch. Yeah, Typical Dutch. And then things in Dutch culture that left me confused, surprised, and frustrated. And evidently, this is a part one. So he's going to be doing a part two. I'll probably go ahead and more than likely react to part two when that comes out as well. So, as always, the link to the original video will be in the description section down below, as always. And definitely go check out this dude's channel, Exploring the Porn, because it's pretty cool. And it's kind of cool that he watches my channel too. Like, that kind of surprised me, to be honest with you guys. So, let's check it out.
If you clicked on this video, you most likely fall into one of three categories. You're either A, a Dutch person and thinking, what is this guy about to say about my culture? Or you're B, a foreigner that moved to the Netherlands and thinking, oh man, let's see if he experienced the same things that I experienced. Or you're C, someone that doesn't live in the Netherlands is just curious to know what are Dutch people like. And whichever group you're in, I just want to say welcome to my story of some of the things here in Dutch culture that were either shocking, confusing, frustrating, or downright funny for me. And no, we won't be talking about some of the cliches like Dutch directness or weed or the weather. As valid as some of those things may be, I do feel like some of them are a little overrated. But stay tuned to find out what's on the list.
True. Lots of people always talk about that stuff.
Okay, the first typical Dutch thing that I have on my list that for me is quite strange is the combination of Hako Sloth, which for my English viewers is chocolate sprinkles with a piece of bread and butter. So
And yeah, Haggisod, that stuff is so good. I had some sent to me, a couple different kinds actually. There's like the dark chocolate, the milk chocolate, and then there's like the ones with all the little different colors and stuff. Oh, it's so good. It is so delicious.
So basically, the way the Dutch do this is they put the butter on top of the piece of bread and then sprinkle the sprinkles on top. And this is a thing that they eat for breakfast, but I think throughout the day as well. But it's really a typical Dutch breakfast thing here. And for me, it's just super strange. I have no idea how someone ever thought of this combination, but the people here in the country love it. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. Let's look like a typical Dutchie here.
It's good.
Okay, speaking of bread, my next point is how much the Dutch love bread. I mean, you guys eat bread all day, every day. To highlight the point, you know, I actually had a coworker that would show up for lunch with a loaf of bread like this and just have cheese and meat ready for him and just sit at his desk, and that was his lunch. Literally a whole loaf of bread that he would bring to his desk. It was the funniest thing in the world. To highlight even further, this is the bread section in the grocery store, and everything is gone. And this is more bread.
They liked it so much they bought it all, huh?
And more bread. And more bread and more bread. Okay, so we covered hagelslag and bread, which might be some of the more obvious things that stand out in Dutch culture. But I'm sure you Dutchies didn't realize the way you guys say goodbye on the phone is also something that's quite unique. Case in point, here's an American goodbye on the phone. Okay, thanks.
Oh, the
Bye.
way they. Okay, I didn't hear what he said for a second. The way he. Okay, so the way they say goodbye on the phone. Go back to that since I cut him off.
Case in point, here's an American goodbye on the phone. Okay, thanks. Bye. And here's a Dutch goodbye on the phone.
Oh, zo top? Oké, top. Nee, helemaal goed. Oké, is goed. Oké, doei doei, joe. Ja, doei.
Now, something else that's been an adjustment for me is you guys' hours of operations. Outside of grocery stores, most things here in the Netherlands close around 6 p.m. or so. And in the US, that's definitely not the case. You get access to most things until around, like, let's say 8 p.m. or so on average. But here, a lot of things are only open during standard work hours. So when I first moved here, that definitely made me question a lot, like, how do people get things done? How do you do things outside of grocery shopping unless you're leaving work early? Just to give an example, I'm standing here in a little shopping center area in my neighborhood. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, exactly. If everything's closed down by 6 and stuff, how exactly? that's interesting to me. Like with COVID and stuff, like there were some stores that was open 24 hours, which I get, you know, you don't necessarily need, but when COVID hit, everything was closing down at like 9 p.m., you know, and everybody's like, man, that's, you know, but you get used to, you know, being open till 9. Uh, so closing at 6, that's 3 hours. Really, it's different.
Go around and show you guys a few of the closing hours outside of grocery stores. Here we have hours for the flower shop. You see open between 1:30 and 6, also open between 9 and 6, open between 9 and 6. Oh, here they close at 7, that's a little later, but you get the point here. This is a flower.
But to be fair, that's just a flower shop, though. That's not something that's like a high necessity to be just out there buying all the time. You know what I mean?
Shop. Here we have another store. Once again, closing at 6.
What
Sunday, just not even open. This is a butcher shop. Once again, closing at 6, closing at 5, and on Sundays, not even open. That's 3 places I just showed you, and all these 3 places are literally right next to each other. I didn't have to go out of my way to find those 3 places. So I think you guys get the point. Something else that stood out to me in Dutch culture is how well-trained dogs are. It seems like a very random thing to point out, but I really feel like I cannot remember one time that I've been barked at or chased or anything like that here in the Netherlands. I feel like dogs are just so well-trained, they just mind their business, and yeah, it's as if you don't exist. Look, I'm about to...
Interesting, because the dogs in there, they be barking all the time. You know, you go down a street or something and there's like a dog, they start barking. If there's like neighbor dogs, they start barking because of that. It starts like a chain reaction. Next thing you know, like every dog in that part of town is just barking at you. All crazy, right?
Business, and yeah, it's as if you don't exist. Look, I'm about to walk past some dogs right now. Let's see how this goes.
Let's see.
Okay, you know what? That's a blooper that I'm going to leave in this video.
But to be fair, those dogs didn't bark then. He did say that they weren't going to bark at him. So they ran up at him, but they didn't bark.
Oh, wow. I guess, you know, they did not want me to make my point there. Okay, time to get off the road and talk about the next thing on the list. And this was definitely quite confusing for me when I first experienced it. And that's the birthday congratulations here in the Netherlands. For those of you that don't know, in the Netherlands it's quite custom to say congratulations to the people that are close to the person whose birthday it is.
Oh, yeah,
and you basically say congratulations, and then you mention the relationship that you have with that person. So for example, if it's my mom's birthday, you would tell me congratulations with your mother. When I first experienced this, I really had no idea what was going on. And it was basically when it was my girlfriend's birthday about 4 years ago, and her mother texted me saying, congratulations with your girlfriend. And I was just kind of thinking to myself, congratulations, like, what happened? And to be honest too, at that time, we weren't really even like official, so I was just kind of confused, like, is she saying that she's my girlfriend now, and then she's telling me congratulations that she's my girlfriend, or did something happen? I don't know, I had no idea. But I ended up reaching out to my girlfriend and asking for explanation of what does this mean, and she explained it to me. And so yeah, that was like my first time learning about this congratulations culture. But don't you worry, now I'm a pro when it comes to Dutch birthdays. Here's an example of me showing up to one.
He's a pro now.
Dankjewel, leuk dat je er bent. Helemaal uit Amsterdam.
Ja, man.
Je zit hier in ouwe. Kom hier, kom hier.
Jongens, goedemorgen, gefeliciteerd.
Dankjewel hè, 60 hè, dat is al heel wat hè. Maar leuk dat je...
And the dogs have survived for that. It was like, oh, earlier, the dogs don't act like you exist. Just randomly, this dog barks and you guys really, I can't understand what you're saying in Dutch, but go back a second since I was cutting off in the middle of a sentence.
Leuk dat je er bent, hè?
Dankjewel.
Heel gezellig dat je bent. Zet zo'n kopje koffie voor je.
Ja, dankjewel. Hey, we gaan gefeliciteerd met je schoonmoeder.
Dankjewel, jij ook gefeliciteerd met je schoonmoeder.
Dankjewel. Gefeliciteerd met je moeder, man. Now for this next one, I wasn't really sure I was gonna...
You know what dankjewel means? Means like, thank you.
Now for this next one, I wasn't really sure I was going to leave it as 3 separate things or classify it all under one umbrella. But the more I thought about it, the more I kind of realized I think this all kind of ties to the same thing. And that's basically here in the Netherlands, there's really not like a culture of praising others in a sense of causing a separation between one group or another. And what I mean by that, for example, attention to politics here. In my opinion, it's a lot less than what I saw in the US. I was here last year during the elections for the prime minister and the cabinet and everything here, or how they classify the cabinet here. And you will really have no idea that there was an election that just happened in the country. Once again, in my opinion, it really just seemed like another day in the country. It just came and went. Whereas in the U.S., it's pretty much like a whole large fiasco for months, even years, leading up to the presidential election. And it really just made me feel like here it's just, it's politicians. They're just everyday people. They're here to serve the government. That's their job. Why should we make a big deal out of it? And furthermore,
I agree. Like, why? Like, why has it got to be a big thing? Come on, right? 100% agree.
Attention to service members, and service members as in people in the military. That's definitely something else that's not as celebrated here as it is back in my country in the U.S. In the U.S. we really have this culture of thanking people for their service and give them all these discounts if they were serving in the military. But here you don't see that at all. Once again, I feel like people just see them as, hey, yeah, you signed up for the military, that's your job. That's the function in society that you chose to serve. And, thank you, of course, but we're not going to make it a big deal to separate you from everybody else or give you special privileges or special praise, etc. And last point that I have on this umbrella of not separating or praising others is celebrity culture. Here in the Netherlands, I don't really feel like that's also a big thing where if there's someone that's a celebrity that there's this big craze over them as it is in the U.S. In the U.S., a celebrity's walking down the street, especially, like a city like LA or New York City, etc. There's just going to be large crowds following them everywhere, trying to get a picture. And here, I feel like that's just not really a thing. If a celebrity's out and about having dinner or something, then it's just cool, do your thing. I'm sure maybe some people will recognize them or maybe say hi, but it's not going to be a big scene as it is in the U.S. For example, I kind of had like a fan moment where I was at Pride and there was Tim Hoffman walking by. And I watch Bulls all the time with my girlfriend. And for us, it was like, oh my God, oh shoot, like Tim Hoffman. And so we walked up to him and said hello. But he was just walking by himself on his phone, AirPods in, super chill. And there was like no scene at all. It was definitely something really interesting for me. And yes, I did ask for a photo, as you can see here. Another big thing that was new for me.
Yeah, around here, man, there's people that just get like trampled, like celebrities and stuff will get trampled. And just or they'll have to have bodyguards because of it. People just get, especially like events and stuff, like people know that there's gonna be a lot of celebrities showing up for a certain thing. They'll just get swarmed by paparazzi trying to get pictures, trying to get autographs and whatnot. So yeah, that's definitely a difference than if it's not like that.
Here in the Netherlands is the amount that they love to plan here and the amount they like to plan in advance. For me, as I mentioned in the video before, I like to be a little more spontaneous, but that's not really successful here in this country. For example, hey Lynn, what do you think about going out this Friday after work?
This Friday, you mean?
Yeah.
No, this Friday I have this work thing going on, so...
Okay. What about Saturday?
Also coming Saturday, you mean?
No, this upcoming Saturday.
No, I also can't really do that. I already planned something, but what about not that Saturday, but that Saturday after, actually. 2 weeks?
All right, another major surprise for me is how late the sun is out during the summer. Right now it's 9 p.m. and it's still this sunny out here right now in the Netherlands. I had no idea this country was like this. Coming from California, even in peak summer, I would say the sun is out until around 8 or so. So yeah, this is really nice. You have really long days.
Yeah, I heard something about that too. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. I don't know what time you said. I think you said 9. But yeah, I heard something about that. Even maybe up to 11 in the people. I don't know for sure, but if it's that late.
Yeah, this is really nice. You have really long days. Say the sun was like this. Coming from the sun is out during the summer. Right now it's 9 p.m. and it's still this sunny out here right now in the Netherlands. I had no idea this country was like this. Coming from California, Even in peak summer, I would say the sun is out until around like 8 or so.
Wow.
So yeah, this is really nice. You have really long days. But on the flip side is that during the winter, it gets dark pretty quickly. So that's kind of unfortunate. But I'll take it right now for the summer. All right, that was it for part 1 of my typical Dutch video, where I'm talking about things that would you consider a culture shock were for me. This will be a 2-part video. So if you enjoyed the first part, please stay tuned for the next. Thanks. Peace.
All right, guys. Exploring the foreign. Go check out his channel. American guy, lives in the Netherlands, as you can tell from the video. So, you know, probably, like I said, I'll be doing part 2. Let me know what you think down below. And in the meantime, you guys hit like, hit subscribe, have a super fun awesome day. I'll catch you in the next